So, hi, dear lovely people. Today is day 11th, episode 11th of our healing series. I'm sorry for not being able to be consistent. I'm trying my best to stay as consistent as I can on this channel. So, today we are going to talk about the teenage years, right? Because all of the what we call that all of the issues started there, or we felt like identity crisis was happening and nobody was able to understand us. We had different kind of dreams and goals and everything, and our parents had something else for us in their minds, right? So we are going to talk about teenage pain and identity wounds today, why you felt unseen and how to heal it. Maybe we will not be able to understand the why properly, but let's try to understand in 10-15 points. And today your task is to write down the things that you would have done differently with today's wisdom and experience, and how your teenage years were like from the age of 13 till the age of 19, how your life was, and what would you like to change. And maybe in the coming future you are going to be a parent, so how you are going to act differently with your kids. Yeah. So it's like teenage years are all about discovering ourselves. No, it's like going to college, for some of us going to different schools, going in the 11th 12th standard or something. The hormonal changes, the dreamy world all around us, the confusion of what we should choose and what we should let go of, the excitement of the coming future. A lot of things were there for me. I used to be a dancer. I used to do a lot of dancing was my favorite hobby, but I used to dance very beautifully. So I wanted to become a dancer. I wanted to take arts, but my parents kind of literally forced me to take science because everyone in our uh, family, extended family, was taking science, and it was a matter of a little bit of shame for us if I'm going to if I was taking arts or something. And I can't blame my parents, because now I understand why they did whatever they did, because my whole family, extended family, and everyone is so rich. We were the only middle class people in the family of rich and affluent people. Now we are also my parents and my brother is kind of upper middle class, and I'm still a middle class person because I'm living in a tiny apartment in Mumbai, but I am living my best life. I don't want to change anything in my life now. Uh, it's like we wanted to discover, we wanted to do something that our heart wanted to do, but our parents or the society or the pressure made us go through a lot of confusions and stressful energies and stressful, you can say, what we had to do. The decisions that we had to take at that time was very very difficult. For most of us, we were living the expectations of our parents. We were not living the life that we wanted to live. For most of us, I'm telling you. And it's not the fault of parents or anything. It was just the society, the dreams that they were not able to fulfill for themselves, they wanted to fulfill through their kids, through their children. And it's not a good thing actually, but the conditioning was such that, right? And now times are changing. Parents have a different connection with their kids now, and I hope in the coming future parents and kids are going to have a very friendly relationship, right? Let's understand the things in a little bit of, you can say, step by step way, so that we can connect, right? First is the teenage search for identity. We have identity crisis these days. A lot of people have this understanding of their sexual preferences. We were not even able to understand where we stand. Are we straight? Are we bisexual? Are we having some other um, uh, preferences or something like that? I, by God's grace, by universe's grace, I'm straight, so I feel very honored that I don't have to fight for that, at least. Okay. And as this, it's not about the sexuality only. It was the identity about who am I, what do I want, in my life. Without the support of the parents, without the support of the society or anyone around us, we were always trying to search, and we never get anything in return. We never got the proper answer, and we had to go through the identity crisis for most of us who were like born in the 1980s or 1990s. I am born in 1989, so I'm kind of in the 80s kind of kids. So there was a huge identity crisis at that time. I was not able to understand what I wanted to do. My heart wanted to do the dancing and all that, acting and drama, all that thing. My parents wanted me to do the science thing, and they kind of made me do. I'm tech in geophysics. I'm a well educated person, but eventually I went to acting, and now I'm into spirituality and healing and meditation and everything. So I found it after a very long period of struggle and whatnot. Then you're kind of forced to lose your real side. You remember when you wanted to become a painter or a dancer or a videographer or a photographer or something like that, but you were forced to do something, right? And then you try to hide your real side because you feel like others will not be able to understand you, others will make fun of you, they will joke around. Let's say, for example, you had a friend who used to get a lot of good grades and everything, and everybody was looking up to them and everybody was comparing them with you, and you felt like, okay, you are the wrong one there. That also happened, right? Then the most important thing is peer pressure and belonging. If you wanted to do something, totally different from what others were doing, and you felt like if you are going to take a stand for yourself, you were not sure whether you will be able to do that or not, because nobody else was doing that around you. And sheer peer pressure, because everybody was running towards a rat race, towards a particular thing, you also felt like, okay, this is the right direction, because everybody else was like running in that direction. Peer pressure and the feeling of belonging, and you also felt like you should belong to some community, belong to some circle. So you felt like, okay, going in a direction where even you never wanted to go, you just went there. Yeah. Then we had the rebellious, revengeful, and angry phase. We were always angry. Of course, it was hormonal as well. Hormones play a very, very big role in this kind of teenage years. But we were always angry, revengeful, and rebellious because we were not getting what we wanted, and in fact, we were not able to understand what we really wanted. Right? So it was converting into anger towards ourselves, anger towards the whole society, actually, anger towards our parents. And then that anger, rebellious energy, and that phase, revengeful phase of your life converted into your, you can say, nature. Today your nature might be little bit rebellious or revengeful or angry because you were not able to get or do what you wanted to do, because you felt like this is not good, or I should not be feeling like this. It's like doing exactly the opposite of what you should have done or what you should be doing. That's why we convert. That's why we became angry, revengeful, rebellious. I became like that. I remember that. I Then when we were not able to go through those rebellious kind of energy, when we were not able to get what we wanted through that rebellious energy, we came into the victim mode. We felt like we are a nobody understands us, everybody is trying to suppress us, everybody is against us, the whole universe is against us. This is the teenage years that we all go through, and most of us go through these stages as well. Rebellious phase, then victim mode, then nobody is able to understand us, the circumstances are such. Then we feel like self-pity and self-anger, and this energy of, oh my god, my fate is such, or my life sucks, or my parents sucks, and something like that, right? Then comes the love phase. We fell in love for the first time, maybe we felt attraction. There was a continuous confusion of like, is it love or infatuation? We were not able to differentiate between infatuation, attraction, and love. And if by any chance the person that we were in love with, or we felt like we liked them, they were not able to love us back or feel the same energy for us, then that also become a very burdensome and heavy energy for teenagers, right? you know many felt unworthy. They were not able to handle rejection, they were not able to handle the heartbroken kind of energies, right? Happened with all of us at certain level, certain age, but teenage years are very, very vulnerable years. And when we go through rejections, heartbreaks, and unworthy kind of feelings at that age, we feel like this is how it is going to be for the rest of our lives. I know, I remember that that happened with me also, because even though it was not like very heartbreaking for me, because I used to be very beautiful. So people were like coming to me and proposing me and all that, but I fell in love when I was in 12th or 12th class or first year or something. I don't remember the exact thing, but we were like broken apart because of caste system or something, right? So yeah, that heartbreak, I still remember that heartbreak. And I was 15, I was 16 or 17, the first love that I had. I don't know what he's doing right now these days, but that happened. But now I am able to understand that it was not actually love. It was just I wanted to be with that person out of this, you can say, stubbornness, that I want to be with that person. That's it. Happens. Then we have hormonal storms, emotional highs and emotional lows. In teenage years, we are always doing things in extreme level. It's very, very difficult. I have never seen, I mean, a lot of us, like 90%, 70 to 80 to 90% of us are always, in the teenage years, are always extremely high or extremely low. The balanced kind of state is kind of rare at that time when I was a teenager. Now I don't know, but I hope things have changed. So we were either we were extremely happy or we were extremely sad. Just give me a second. You know, the emotional highs or lows, you remember that? And it was not because of the one thing, it was because of multiple things that were not going as per our wishes, right? And the competitive energies was crazy. If somebody has something, or somebody was scoring like 80%, we wanted to score 89. If somebody was scoring 90, we wanted to score 91. Competition in actually everything, competition in looking good, competition in having more assets, competition in having more friends or something like that. Competitive energy was so high, we often felt like the whole life is competition, right? That happened. Being misunderstood, always. Teens are often labeled as dramatic, lazy, or rebellious, but inside they are just seeking understanding. You know, the lack of friendship between parents and teenagers is the main reason that they are always feeling misunderstood by everybody and everyone and everything around us. And at that time, if we are going to find one person who is talking to us with love or showing us care, even if it is fake, we feel like that person is our friend, and our parents are somebody who are our enemies or something. That happens with a lot of us, right? Being misunderstood. Okay, and then the most important factor, especially in India, is the lack of sex education properly, right? We were not educated properly about, the teacher came and she told us something about reproductive system, about men and women, and that's it. She skipped that chapter. Like, completely she skipped that chapter. I don't know about today's world, but the lack of sex education was a very important factor where a lot of teenagers get lost. Again, I'm talking about my teenage years. I don't know today's what is happening in schools. Maybe they are teaching properly, and I hope they are. If not, I think the parents, they should not be ashamed of teaching their kids about sex properly. It will help them to understand the natural hormonal kind of things, the attraction kind of things, and what they should not do and what they should do. Especially for women also, the parents don't tell them about periods. I was 13 when I got my first period, and my mom got scared. Forget about talking to me about the periods things. So she was not able to, tell me what was happening at that time. And then she told me that, okay, this happens with every woman and this and that. Then I got to know from my teacher. And this kind of education is very, very important in the teenage years, so that they are going to be saved from a lot of stressful energies and a lot of not so good kind of things happening around them. It's very, very important. The generation gap, now the parents are much more cooler than they used to be in the 90s, but still I do feel a generation gap. I am 36, and when I talk to somebody who is even 20, 21, 22, I feel a generation gap, because Now what is happening with the teenagers is they have too much of knowledge, they have too much of everything. We didn't had that privilege. Now when they have too much, now I think they should be monitored with more awareness. They should be handled with more care, because too much of knowledge is also a dangerous thing, because now they don't understand the difference between real and fake. Okay, that is also a problem. But again, if you were a teenager where you were not uh, connected to your parents because of the generation gap, I can understand that, because you had a different set of mind, different energy, different mindset. They have a different mindset. It's all about conditioning, and you guys were not able to match with each other properly, even if you guys were trying too hard, right? Then the career confusion and pressure. Should I go for government job? Should I apply for some other job? Should I go for engineering? Should I go for doctor? Should I just have this business thing or something like that? Career confusion was taking a toll over us, because we had to choose the subjects accordingly. We had to study accordingly. This was also something that was kind of very difficult to handle, kind of a thing. All the points, all the things that I'm talking about is something that that all of us have gone through, all of us. Okay, maybe not 100%, but 90% of us have gone through. And now when I'm trying to trying to make you guys remember whatever you have gone through in your teenage years, you will be able to understand what went wrong. Now how you can handle that situation differently if you were you at that time, right? Then suppressed desire and hidden passions. Again, if teenagers are properly well educated in that department of desires, of fantasy and everything, they are going to be okay, I think. They are not going to be that much confused as we used to be. They are not going to be ashamed of their sexuality as we used to be. If you are a parent now, please talk to your daughters or your sons properly about it, so that they will be able to understand that this is just a natural thing. This is not something that is a la la land or something. Okay, it's just a natural thing, and it happens to every one of us. Okay, and when then we had while we are coming out of the teenage, still we have this mask of perfection. I am perfect, I'm fine, I don't have any issues, and see how beautifully I'm able to fit in the society. We don't dare to go out of the box still, because in those years of our life in teenage, you can say, we were taught to be in the box, fit in the box, no matter what, no matter how difficult it was, no matter how painful it was, no matter how you know degrading it was. We were taught to be taught to fit in the box, and still a lot of us are putting on this mask of I am the most beautiful, I'm the most loving person of the society, and see, I know how to live in the box. Happened to all of us. Now the healing steps are like very easy, but very difficult to stay consistent on the path of healing. We give up because we feel like, oh, nothing is changing. You have to remind yourself that the trauma, the pain, and everything that you are carrying till this point of your life is you can say is the addition, is the, you can say, I'm not able to get the exact word here. So the trauma is not of one day, it's of whole life. So how can you expect the healing to happen in one day? It might take 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. For me, it took me 9 years. Still I'm healing. When you start healing, no, for me, like because of my spiritual things and all, I went into my past lives also, and the imprints were also there, some of them. I left my body just when I was about to get enlightenment in the past lifetime. I was a yogini. I had everything, money, job, career, a son, in fact, and I left my body because I was not able to wait any longer, right? So for me, it was totally different. For some of us, it's totally different. But for most of us, we have to keep going, and we have to stay consistent and disciplined in the healing thing. And one day you are going to be completely fine. And it's bound to happen when you start your healing journey. If you like give it a spiritual name or not, we start going on the spiritual path. Okay. Now your task today is the major healing thing that you can do today is you can reparent yourself. Be your parent. Now you play the role of a parent of that teenager where you were sulking, crying, misunderstood, rebellious, revengeful, angry, not being able to understand what you should do, confused. How you are going to handle that situation by being your own parent. What would you have done differently, or what you are going to say, or what you are going to reveal to your kid, reveal to your teenage self, so that it can be at peace. Okay, do that and just talk to your teenage self, whatever age you remember, 13, 14, 15, 17, 18, 19. Just sit in front of him or her and talk to her that whatever happened. Now you are going to make sure that your life is not going to be that suppressed, that you are not going to be that revengeful, hateful, or that teenage. And at the end, forgive every person who you feel is responsible for that pain in your life. Okay, that will help. Forgiving doesn't mean that you are going to say, yeah, I forgive my parents. Forgiving means genuinely forgiving them and sending them love and blessings, understanding their circumstances and their conditioning and where they are coming from. That's very, very important. Maybe your elder siblings, maybe other family members, maybe friend circle, maybe peer pressure, maybe something that happened at that time that's very, very difficult to deal. Try to go to that point and try to, just forgive that person, that energy, and move forward and be your own parent. For today, you have to play the role of your parent when you were a teenage and you were not able to handle the situation or your life. Now you are what you are going to do differently in order to make peace with that energy. Okay, that's your task for today. So this is what I have for you today, and I hope it is going to make you revisit your teenage years, and you will be able to make peace, okay, with your teenage years. And now you are going to feel like, okay, totally different person, not immediately but eventually. Okay, now it's in the next episode we are going to talk about the first step in the adulthood life, and how we became what we became and why we are behaving the way we are behaving and how to deal with it. Then a guided meditation to reparent or inner child healing we will see, and then we will start the next week. Okay, so yeah, thank you so much. I'll see you soon in the next video. Bye bye, take care, may existence bless you. Namaste.